lie. That's what these men did. Obedient to the laws of their homeland, they did their duty. They will now lie in eternal repose, as I said, here in this cemetery, and I'm sure that they will get now the respect which they deserve. And I will just say to them, welcome home, brother.
Many of you know well the story of Mr. Phan Nhật Nam. He served as an airborne officer in the same battalion as the 81 Lost Arvin soldiers that we honor today, after which he became South Vietnam's most famous war reporter. Wide respect for his honesty and integrity is what I hear whenever I hear the name Phan Nhật Nam. In 1973, he was South Vietnam's secretary to the Joint Military Committee at the Paris Agreements, which was responsible for negotiating the release of American POWs. The irony of all of that service was that after the fall of South Vietnam, Phan Nhật Nam was sent to re-education camp for 14 years, about 8 of which were in solitary confinement. He is a soldier, he is a writer, he is a highly respected person of integrity, and it's my honor to introduce him today. And it also is my honor to have Vietnam's most famous actress, my good friend Kiều Trinh, who will read certain portions of Phan Nhật Nam's remarks in Vietnamese.
Kính thưa quý quan khách người Việt, trước khi trình bày phần tiếng Việt, cho tôi xin vài câu để nói với cái thượng tọa người Mỹ. Ladies and gentlemen, I was the sub-lieutenant of the 72 Company with my company in the 1963 to 1965. Today, after one president of the 15-year war, I presented here by the Vietnamese version, and my old friend, the movie actor, Thiều Trinh, will help me for translating into English. Kính thưa quý quan khách Mỹ Việt, kính thưa quý đồng hương người Việt, kính thưa quý chiến hữu Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, quý chiến hữu sư đoàn nhảy dù, gia đình Mũ Đỏ hải ngoại, quý thân nhân 81 tự sĩ đại đội 72 tiểu đoàn 7 nhảy dù KBC 4919 tại Vũ Đạo Ánh, phi trường Biên Hòa. Tôi xin kể câu chuyện. Cuộc hành quân thần phong 7 trong vùng thung lũng Ia Trang, Pleiku với sự tham dự của chiến đoàn đặc nhiệm nhảy dù phối hợp với lữ đoàn 2 không kỵ Hoa Kỳ chấm dứt ngày 26 tháng 11 1965. Tiểu đoàn 7 nhảy dù được giữ tại Pleiku, đợi được không vận dự trù ngày 11 tháng 12 1965 về miền Duyên Hải để tiếp tục cuộc hành quân thần phong 11. Và tai nạn thảm khốc nhất trong chiến tranh Việt Nam đã xảy ra. 81 quân nhân nhảy dù thuộc đại đội 72 với 4 phi hành đoàn người Mỹ đã lâm tử nạn.
Honorable American Vietnamese guests, fellow Vietnamese Americans, Army of the Republic of Vietnam colleagues, Arvin Airborne Division, and overseas Red Beret family, families and friends of 81 heroes from the 7th Airborne Battalion, 72 Company, APO 4919, Camp Vũ Đạo Ánh, Biên Hòa Air Force. Thần Phong 7, Holy Wind 7, campaign in Yaran Drang Valley, Pleiku, with the participation of the Arvin Airborne Task Force in coordination with the U.S. Army 2nd Air Cavalry Brigade, ended on November 26, 1965. The 7th Battalion was retained in Pleiku, waiting for the scheduled airlift to the coastal region, preparing to attend Thần Phong 11 campaign, Holy Wind 11, on December 11, 1965. And the most catastrophic accident in Vietnam War occurred. All 81 South Airborne soldiers of Company 72, along with 4 American aircrew members, was tragically killed.
Mãi đến năm 1974 mới thu hồi được số hài cốt chưa bị hủy hoại. Số di cốt được đưa về Bangkok, Thái Lan. Phiên đoàn người Mỹ tử nạn được xác định qua thử nghiệm DNA, đưa về an táng thích nghi trên đất Mỹ. Nhưng lý lịch cung bạ của 81 tử sĩ nhảy dù Việt Nam không được xác nhận, không thể xác nhận. Tiếp, ngày 30 tháng 4 1975, sụp vỡ miền Nam, tất cả rơi vào quên lãng.
It was not until 1974 when a number of undamaged remains was recovered and brought to Bangkok, Thailand. The remains of 4 American aircrew members from the accident was identified by DNA testing, sent home, and received appropriate burial in the United States. But the biography and military records of 81 Vietnamese paratroopers could not be confirmed. Following the collapse of South Vietnam on April 30th, 1975, the fates of these 81 soldiers fell into oblivion.
Năm 1986, hài cốt 81 tử sĩ gửi đến phòng thí nghiệm PAO MIA ở Hawaii và lưu giữ ở nơi đây trong 33 năm. Nhà nước Hà Nội 2 lần từ chối chấp nhận để an táng trên đất Việt Nam. Cũng bởi 81 tử sĩ của chúng ta không phải là công nhân, cũng không phải là quân lực Mỹ, nên không có một phương cách nào để hài cốt 81 người lính nhảy dù Việt Nam được an táng đúng thủ tục pháp lý, cung cách trên đất Hoa Kỳ. Tử sĩ Việt Nam Cộng Hòa đã là những người lính vô danh của một quân đội thất trận đã mất quê hương.
In 1986, the remains of 81 heroes were sent to the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency, DPAA, in Hawaii, and kept there for additional 33 years. The Hanoi government has twice refused to accept the American offer to return and bury these soldiers in Vietnam, because these soldiers are neither U.S. citizens nor members of the U.S. Armed Forces. There is no possible way for the remains of Vietnamese paratroopers to be buried in accordance with American legal procedure in the U.S. military ceremony on American soil. These 81 heroes of the Arvin were the unknown soldiers of a defeated army who lost their homeland.
Nhưng phép lạ được xảy ra. Chiến hữu Jim West biết ra tình huống của 81 tử sĩ nhảy dù. Và 2 năm trước đây, ông đã nêu lên cái nguyên lý trung hậu từ William Gaston, là một thủ tướng của người Anh trong thế kỷ thứ 19. Hãy chỉ cho tôi xem cách thức một quốc gia hay một cộng đồng chăm sóc những người chết của họ. Tôi sẽ đo lường sự tôn trọng luật pháp của họ đối với đất nước và sự trung thành của họ với những lý tưởng cao cả. Đấy là cách hành xử tôn quý đối với hơn 58.000 tử sĩ Hoa Kỳ trên chiến địa Việt Nam được ghi tên trên bức tường đá đen ở Washington DC.
In 1980, but a miracle happened. Our friend, the Honorable Jim Webb, found out about the forgotten tale of these heroes. Upon hearing this news, Mr. Webb, cited Sir William Gladstone, a British Prime Minister during the 19th century, offered a timeless formula. Show me the manner in which a nation or community care for its dead, and I will measure exactness of the tender sympathy of its people, their respect for the law of the land, and their loyalty to high ideal. Like the honorable conduct for more than 58,000 American heroes ultimately sacrificed on Vietnamese battlefields, whose name was immortalized on the black granite wall in Washington, D.C.
Người chiến hữu Jim Webb không nói lý thuyết suông. Ông thực hiện nên thành một hành vi cao thượng, qua nhiều năm vận động với giới lập pháp hành pháp Hoa Kỳ, để cuối cùng ngày 13 tháng 9 vừa qua, hài cốt của 81 tử sĩ đại đội 72 từ Hawaii được đưa về California, vùng đi tôn Sài Gòn, thủ đô của người Việt tị nạn.
Mr. Jim Webb did not just theorize, he turned his wish into a noble act. After years of lobbying the U.S. legislature and executive branch, eventually on September 13, 2019, he secured the transfer of these 81 heroes of Company 72 to Little Saigon, California, the capital of Vietnamese refugees.
Và thưa quý vị, hôm nay 26 tháng 10 là lễ tưởng niệm và vinh danh cho những người lính để hy sinh với sự hiện diện của những ân nhân tổ chức Lost Soldier Foundation, Bộ trưởng Hải quân Richard Spencer, cộng đồng người Việt tị nạn, chiến hữu Quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, chiến hữu Sư đoàn Nhảy dù, và cảm kích biết bao là những thân nhân của những tử sĩ. Họ là những người không nghĩ ra rằng từ 1965 đến giờ này mà có thể thấy lại được hài cốt của những người thân của mình đã mất tích trong ngày 11 tháng 12 1965.
Today, October 26th, is the day to remember and honor these fallen heroes in the presence of the benefactors, the Lost Soldiers Foundation, Mr. Richard Spencer, Secretary of the Navy, the Vietnamese refugees community, the Republic of Vietnam Armed Forces veteran, the Avon Airborne Division, and especially the families members who thought they would never see their lost relative remain again.
And finally, xin được kể ra sự có mặt hôm nay của Đại tá Lê Văn Phát, cựu đại úy, đại đội trưởng 74, người chỉ huy đầu đời trực tiếp của chiến thiếu úy Phan Nhật Nam này, đã sống, chiến đấu với tiểu đoàn 7 Nhảy dù qua trận Đồng Xoài 11 tháng 6 1965, qua tai nạn thảm khốc của ngày 11 tháng 12 1965. Thưa quý vị, Đại tá Lê Văn Phát là biểu tượng cuộc chiến đấu vẫn đang tiếp tục.
I would recognize the presence of the Colonel Lê Văn Phát, commander of Company 72, who lived and fought since the creation of 7th Battalion in 1960, since the Battle of Dong Xoài on June 11, 1965, and since this devastating crash on December 11, 1965, the battle rages on.
Thưa quý vị, cùng các chiến hữu, quý thân nhân tử sĩ, người lính không hề chết, họ sống mãi trong lòng người dân nhớ nước. Người lính sắc son với màu cờ Tổ quốc. Bởi hôm nay, thưa quý vị, chính là quốc khánh của Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, 26 tháng 10 1955, 26 tháng 10 2019, ngày khai sinh nền Cộng hòa Việt Nam. Xin cảm ơn quý vị.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow warriors and families, these soldiers never die. They live forever in our home longing hearts. The soldiers who are faithful to our national colors, because today is also the national ceremony of the Republic of Vietnam, October 26, 1955, when a new republic was found in South Vietnam. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ban Nhật Nam. How many people here today are members of the Gia đình Mũ Đỏ? You can stand or clap. Thank you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for being here today. I know this is a special day for all Vietnamese, but with strong memories for the people who were Gia đình Mũ Đỏ. And in that spirit, tôi xin giới thiệu ông Nguyễn Hiệp, the president of Gia đình Mũ Đỏ.
I have a great emotional. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We gather here to commemorate the sacrifice of 4 American airmen and also 81 Vietnamese paratroopers who have perished during the Vietnam War. On December 11, 1965, the 3rd and 7th Vietnamese Airborne Battalion have completed their mission in the 2nd Corps, Central of Vietnam. They were scheduled to be transported back to Saigon for rest and resupply. But, however, they received an unexpected order to depart for Tuy Hòa to reinforce the Korean Marine Division, one of our allies. Yes, to reinforce the Korean Division. Then the tragic accident occurred. Today, I would like to present to you the Colonel Levan Phat. He's in audience. His company was supposed to be transported back after the tragic mission, but the airlift was postponed, and the next day they were transferred to the Tuy Hòa for continuous operation. Sit down, Captain. Colonel. He was a young captain when the tragic accident happened. His company right behind the mission. and he served his country as the commander of the 3rd Vietnamese Paratrooper Brigade prior to the fallen of Saigon, south of Vietnam in April 1975. As many of you through the media know that the remains of our airborne brother in arms were kept unclaimed in Hawaii for 3 decades. Yes, more than 30 years unclaimed in Hawaii. Then the Senator Jim Webb and his associate got involved. They have spent tremendous amount of time and effort to overcome many political, administrative, and bureaucratic challenges. And at last, they bring the remains here for memorial ceremony and to be interred and laid in rest here in the Westminster Orange County, the largest home of the community of Vietnamese residents outside of Vietnam. On behalf of the South Vietnam Armed Forces and the family of the Vietnamese Red Beret, Gia đình Mũ Đỏ, we express our deepest appreciation to Senator Webb, Colonel Castanetti, and Ms. Attorney McFadden for their selfless work in bringing the remains here. Also, we would like to acknowledge several of the American Advisor Team 162 in the audience somewhere. Mr. Barry Shook, he's a red marker. Mr. William Block and Bruce Hoffman. American Advisor Team 162 have fought side by side with the Vietnamese Airborne Division in many bloody battles. They have shed plenty of the tears and blood during the Vietnam War. Thank you for your service. We also express our appreciation to many young, brave women and men, American women and men, who have opposed all around the world for the freedom and promote the human rights. Ladies and gentlemen, our fallen heroes, they never died. They just simply fade away and rest in peace. Thank you. Thank you very much. Senator Jim Webb, we would like you to go to the podium, please. Sorry, sir. Senator Webb, this is a token of the appreciation from Gia đình Mũ Đỏ. We would like to present to you with all of your heart. Thank you, sir. The next person we want to express appreciation is Colonel Castanetti. Colonel, this is a token of your appreciation to all of your work. Thank you very much. Thank you. And the last person, can you guess? Who is this? The Attorney McFadden. I would like to see you in the podium, please. Mr. McFadden, this is a small check from Jardine Woodall. Would like to present to you.
Dr. Hepp, we appreciate the gratitude you expressed to myself and Senator Webb and McFadden and all the others that brought this honorable ceremony to a noble start. We thank you very much, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we certainly have focused on the deceased 81 commingled, unidentified airborne. But as you can see, the honor guard in front of me represents all the services and the deceased of the Vietnam Cong Hoa. And that as the eternal flame continues to burn, all the ARVN who made the sacrifices are here recognized at this memorial ceremony today. Now, for your musical pleasure, we have the Marine Quartet with a musical interlude, Eternal Father. I'd like to also recognize that those Marine Corps musicians are also combat riflemen in their own right. They have to learn to shoot straight first before they play their instruments. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce somebody that probably doesn't need to be introduced, but I'm going to share just a moment because his bio is 3 pages long. Senator James Webb, former Senator James Webb. But what you need to know is this officer fought gallantly in combat, is a recipient of the Navy Cross, next to the Medal of Honor, the Silver Star, and 2 Purple Hearts. He shed his blood for this country, and he's a friend, and I've known him for 54 years, and I'm proud to have him here today. Thank you, sir.
It's too hot, Gino. We need to go. Thank you very much, Gino. And again, I'd like to thank the Secretary of the Navy for bringing along with and helping us arrange the musical support that we have here, and also the other support from the Marine Corps. It's been making this a very special day. This has been and will continue to be a very special day. It's an historic day. And we're grateful to all of you for coming here and being a part of it, and for our distinguished guests who have shared their memories and their thoughts. It's a great honor to be remembering the service of these proud airborne soldiers as a part of their journey to eternal peace. They were among the best that South Vietnam had to offer. We remember them today for their courage and their sacrifice. I would also like to offer my thanks and my respect for their fellow airborne soldiers, the Yaden Mudal, who are here today, and to Dr. Hip for his very kind remarks. It's a special day. And I would like to say that this long journey of these 81 lost soldiers from Vietnam, Thailand, to Hawaii, and finally here to Westminster, California, is where they will always remain. And that journey makes their cause unique. After 54 years, they have finally reached their eternal resting place. But their journey and the celebration that we're having today is also more than that. Let us remember that this fate was shared by many other soldiers, airmen, sailors, and Marines from among the more than 200,000 South Vietnamese and the more than 58,000 Americans who lost their lives in this long ago war. And thousands of those soldiers who lost their lives on different battlefields will never be found. So in their memory, we will treasure the remains that are with us and the honor that we are able to render on behalf of those who were lost and will never be found. Today, we also remember the living. There are people here who fought long and hard on the battlefield of that difficult war. After the war ended, some of them spent many years away from their loved ones in the harsh prisons of re-education camps. There are people here today, a lot of them, who risked their lives on fragile boats in the unknown of the open sea, and then, luckily, found their way to refugee camps, and from those camps into the open society of America, where they and their children worked and studied and succeeded and demonstrated to the world the power of the Vietnamese culture when it is unleashed in an open and free society. And along the way, all of you have helped to make America a better place. There are people here today, like myself, who had the honor of serving our country on some very harsh battlefields in another country, not for fame or reward, not for place or for rank, but in simple obedience to duty as they understood it, as Americans who were dedicated to the pursuit of freedom. All of us, I believe, share one common passion. We believe in the Vietnamese people, in their historical traditions, in the power of their culture, and in the vital importance of Vietnam to America and of America to Vietnam. And all of us here are very fortunate, unlike millions of others who, on both sides of the war, and some caught in the middle, we survived. And it is for this reason, more than any other, that we are here today to remember these who did not survive. These lost soldiers paid the highest price. They had the longest journey. They have finally come home, as the mayor indicated, to a place very few of them ever even knew. But they will rest peacefully among people who now know this place and who remember them with respect and with dignity. 100 years from now, 200 years from now. For as long as there is an America, they will be here among us. Their story will be told and retold, like the story of so many people who are here today after the struggles of war and the perils of becoming refugees out in the open sea. The story of their loss on a long-ago battlefield is a permanent part of Vietnam's history. And the story of their salvation is now a part of America's history. Their long journey is over. They have come home, not to the towns or to the villages where they were born, but here in America to a community that remembers them and respects them. And here in the cemetery of Westminster, California, our families and our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren will forever honor them. For the rest of us, those who survived, let us all remember that the war we fought and the losses we endured are behind us, but the reasons will always be with us. The importance of Vietnam to America and the importance of America to Vietnam, the cause of freedom, the liberation of one's soul when we commit to the importance of its liberation from the bonds of servitude. There was a saying among many American soldiers so many years ago on that misunderstood battlefield. For those who have fought for it, freedom has a flavor that the protected will never know. That truth rings especially true, not only for those who fought for it, but also for those who lost a loved one on that long ago battlefield, and for those who endured years of isolation and humiliation in the re-education camps, and for those who set out on the open sea to seek it, not knowing whether they would be dead or on their way to a refugee camp that might possibly bring them to America. That is the power of the Vietnamese culture, and that is the magic of this special place we call America. God rest these brave, never more to be forgotten soldiers. From this day forward, the people of two nations will remember them and will honor them. And we will never forget their sacrifice. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Webb, for those inspirational remarks. At this time, may I ask the following, the Honorable Richard Spencer, Mayor Tar, Van Nhat Nam, to join Jim Webb for the presentation of the wreath by the Eternal Flame. Bagpiper, present the wreath. Senator Webb and your party, please stand there momentarily. Dr. Hepp, would you bring your wreath for presentation, sir? Military honor guards, present the colors. One moment of silence. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand for traditional military honors? Rifle detail. Commence. 3-gun volley and the playing of taps. Ready, two. Ladies and gentlemen, you may please be seated. Chaplain Dan, would you please come forward for benediction?
Eternal Father, be gracious and merciful unto our 81 airborne soldiers, whose remains we honor today. Let your light shine upon them and grant them your mercy and peace. May God give comfort and hope to their loved ones, families, and friends. And may the Lord remember all who die in the service of their country, whether in the air or on land or in the sea. And may the Lord our God bless us all here present to memorialize those 81 airborne soldiers who sacrificed their lives in the service of their country. May our memory of them be an honorable one, full of thanksgiving to the Lord who accepted them into his kingdom to enjoy unending joy, eternal rest. Xin Thượng Đế tỏ lòng từ bi và xót thương đến 81 tử sĩ nhảy dù Việt Nam Cộng Hòa mà hài cốt của họ chúng con truy điệu hôm nay. Xin ánh sáng ngàn thu chiếu soi trên các linh hồn này và ban cho họ được bình an trong miền cực lạc. Xin ơn trên ban niềm an ủi hy vọng và phù trợ cho thân nhân, gia đình và bạn hữu của họ. Và xin đấng thiêng liêng chúc lành cho tất cả chúng ta đang hiện diện nơi đây, tưởng niệm 81 tử sĩ nhảy dù vị quốc phong thần. Xin cho chúng ta tưởng nhớ đến họ với niềm vinh dự và đầy lòng cảm tạ đấng tạo hóa đã đón nhận họ vào nơi an nghỉ ngàn thu trong miền đất thiêng vĩnh hằng miên viễn. Amen.
Retire the colors. Please stand for the retirement of the colors. Forward, march. Please be seated one more time. This time, I'd like to thank many, many people. I'm going to wait until we remove the remains back to the casket. So at this time, casket bearers, front and center. The airborne casket bearers, pallbearers, front and center. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Will you please remain in your location until we can get the official party to their vehicles? Please remain in your position until the departure of the official party.
Kính thưa quý vị, xin quý vị ở chỗ ngồi của mình để chờ ban tổ chức. Khi nào sẽ có di quan chúng tôi sẽ thông báo. Xin quý vị ở tại chỗ ngồi của mình để chờ lệnh của ban tổ chức. Xin cảm ơn. Kính thưa quý vị, ban tổ chức xin thông báo cho quý vị là quý vị nán ở lại đây để chờ cỗ xe di chuyển qua bên kia rồi chúng ta mới qua. Chúng ta ở lại tại chỗ. Xin quý vị nán lại ít phút ở tại chỗ đây đến khi nào ban tổ chức thông báo quý vị thì chúng ta sẽ cùng qua bên kia để mà theo lễ an táng.
Cái cỏ vòng hoa này ai mang qua mấy chú giải dụ sách ra hả? Ok, let's forget now, let's forget now.
You know, I was there at the Big E's evacuation. I was out there in the Big E's. Để đây luôn nhé, để đây đó. Yeah, like that. Yeah. And Valdez, he was my partner in Texas. He was the last guy out of there, right? I was on the ship always. I didn't want to go in there and get him.